Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Beyond the Boots here from the Cincinnati VA Medical Center with my colleague Chris Klug. This is Todd Sledge, Chief Communication Officer, getting another opportunity to talk to you about some things that you may not be aware of that veterans should be taking fully advantage of, and as well as those wonderful caregivers out there that take care of our veterans who need a little bit of assistance to get through the day, the week, and the month on so many different levels, and that's what we're going to focus on today on this edition of Beyond the Boots. But while we do that, and if you're not enrolled in VA healthcare and you hear about these wonderful benefits we talk about today and all the things that are capable for you in all of our different locations, you can call our eligibility office at 513-475-6499. That's 513-475-6499. And Chris, it's good to be back in the studio here. This thing's taken off a little bit, man.
It is, yeah. People are watching. We're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. You can find us kind of everywhere now.
Yeah, so. We're getting some good traction, and I'd mentioned this the other day on the Brian Thomas opportunity that I had, and he loved the name, man. So kudos to you. I gave all the credit to your wife. You said she was the one that came up with it. It's a good one.
It is a good one, and I'll steal that credit back from her and just take it for myself.
That's good. So we're glad to have you here on Beyond the Boots, and let's jump right into our topic today. One of the things I think the VA is it's phenomenal that we have this, and this program's gone through a lot of different iterative changes over the years, different legislation to it, and I think that's all because of the growth and the demand that's happened with the Caregivers program that veterans were afforded to. But so we're very fortunate to have Christina Hall here with us. She is one of the coordinators of the Caregiver program that is actually there's a couple different programs with it, and she has some general responsibilities of overseeing that and connecting people with those benefits. And so, Christina, we're very excited to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What really is your official VA title? Maybe how long you've been with the VA, and then we'll get right into it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've been with the VA for just over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I started out in the San Francisco VA.
And you moved to Cincinnati.
I know, right? We were in Detroit after that. So
okay.
Cincinnati is like a nice happy medium.
Yeah.
But yeah, so most of my career I've been in post-traumatic stress disorder. So I worked over at our Fort Thomas location
Absolutely.
in the PTSD clinic. And in January of last year, I decided I wanted a little bit of a change and wanted to work more with the caregivers and kind of help folks that are helping the veterans, work through their struggles with PTSD and other diagnoses. So
yeah, kudos to you. That's our PTSD programs are so well known and very well utilized, and very fortunate to have that program as well. But let's talk about Caregivers program. Who's it for? What do we do? What's it about? And I think let's start off first with what the definition is of a caregiver.
So we really broadened the definition of a caregiver. So sometimes you often think of someone coming in to take care of a veteran, but really, family members, friends, spouses, neighbors, anybody who really is helping a veteran manage their conditions, get through the day. We think of folks who maybe aren't able to live independently without the help of someone that can step in and help them with their daily living skills. So that's really what we think of in terms of a caregiver. It doesn't necessarily have to be a loved one, but oftentimes it is, and especially in our program.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to first, Chris and I talk a lot about the different myths and misconceptions about a lot of the things that we do. Mm-hmm. And when you hear a caregiver, you naturally think, well, what do I do? I'm not married, or I don't have a partner. Well, it can, like to your point, it can be someone that's invested in the life of that veteran, can care for that veteran and do different things with that. So let's talk about the programs you guys offer. I know there's a variety of different things. Usually some people are more interested in one than the other, and I'll let you talk about that,
yes.
That piece. But yeah, talk to us with about the different things that caregivers are involved with the Cincinnati VA.
Sure. So Caregiver Support Program is kind of like an umbrella term, and then we have two programs that fall underneath that. One of them is called the Program of Comprehensive Assistant for Family Caregivers, and they call that PCAFC, government.
Love our acronyms.
Right?
Yep, absolutely.
So that program is the program that folks most of the time are more familiar with. It involves an application process, and if the folks are approved, they receive a monthly financial stipend to help offset caregiving costs.
Yep.
To be eligible for that, a veteran has to be at least 70% service-connected. They have to be struggling in a variety of areas of what we call activities of daily living, or ADLs. So they need to be receiving assistance from a caregiver in several of those areas for at least 6 months period of time. So this has to be kind of a long-term, more chronic condition.
Sure.
And they apply, and the team assesses them. They meet with different folks to determine, how much help the caregiver is really providing them. And if they're approved, they get the financial stipend. They have some enhanced respite care, so they have some additional days where they can qualify for folks to come in and help out.
They get a little bit of a break.
A little bit of a break,
Yep.
Yeah. So that is a lovely program. And then the other program, which folks don't know as much about, is a program that I actually coordinate with my counterpart, Erica Human, and it is called the Program of General Caregiver Supportive Services, or PGCSS. But we really are the backbone of the program, so even folks in PCAFC, in the comprehensive program, they take part in our services.
Okay.
And our main focus is really the caregiver. So we do coaching, training, stress management activities, socialization exercises, really anything to try to help promote the health and well-being of the caregiver.
Yeah.
We provide them information on different conditions that veterans might struggle with. So we work a lot with dementia, PTSD, ALS, Parkinson's, so some of the more foundational diagnoses that end up getting folks in the door in the comprehensive program. We can help them guide through those conditions and navigate, how to help the veteran the best that they can.
Well, absolutely. What a great explanation with that. That's a very simple way to understand, what goes on with caregivers and those things in the program. So if you just tuned in, you're joining us. This is the Beyond the Boots podcast that we do from the Cincinnati VA Medical Center with me and Chris Klug. And Christina Hall's with us. She's one of the administrators, coordinators, organizers, guru of things, and very happy to have you along here because this is a very popular program. And I know it's gone through a lot of different changes. And like you said before, folks get kind of, I think, first focused on the compensation side part of the program, which I think is a very key point, and I wanted to focus on when you said that to be eligible, a veteran has to be 70% service connected. I know, Chris, you and I talk a lot about that, why it's important for veterans to make sure that they have applied for their compensation on different levels of things, whether maybe they're not currently at 70% but have the possibility of getting there. That does require an increase in that upgrade of different conditions, because once you hit that 70% mark, it opens up a lot of doors. And I would imagine a natural relief it is on a family to know that they have, especially if, say, dad lives or mom lives in Cincinnati and they're 300 miles away, and they know there's a local caregiver or somebody that can work with them, or they can be in the home with the veteran themselves and make a huge difference.
Yeah, that's really one of the goals, is to try to keep the veteran in the home as long as
Absolutely,
possible.
Yeah. They don't want to leave those homes,
Exactly. And we really try to focus on respite a lot with the caregivers. So, respite can look like a lot of different things. I mean, sometimes it's just teaching them to take 5-10 minutes to walk away, take some deep breaths, do a mindfulness exercise. And then you think about the more traditional respite like home health care or nursing home, short-term, while they're on vacation themselves or having a surgery or an operation, someone to look over their veteran while they're, taking care of themselves. So we really try to push the respite piece and really enhance their understanding of that, because some folks don't even know they're eligible for that.
Yeah, and that's got to be huge. Obviously, we're focusing on giving the proper care, the right care to the veteran. But if that caregiver, is stressed out, burned out, it maybe doesn't feel well themselves in different times, they can lean on you guys for motivation, coaching. I would imagine in both programs that you talked about, the non-compensation side and the compensation side is helping them navigate the huge resources and complexity of VA healthcare.
Very much so, yeah. And in the comprehensive program, they will do wellness visits with the caregivers, so they'll go out to the home and talk with them about their needs and recommend different resources and such. And then Erica and I in the general program, we're the ones that really field the calls that come into our hotline. If someone just doesn't know where to turn, they don't even know how to apply, we'll provide the link to the application. Sometimes we'll make referrals to outside services like the Council on Aging or Catholic Charities or Alzheimer's Association. So we're really connecting them up with resources that maybe they weren't aware that they were eligible for.
Yeah, and that's one of the other big things is we work with so many community partners to to make things happen and work for our veterans as well. So one of the other things too I'd be curious about as I sit here and listen, and thank you for the very easy explanations and understanding of what things are. So this is about keeping the veteran in the home as much as possible.